All right, good afternoon. It is Tuesday, November 9th, 2021, and today I would really say, yeah, this is a range day. We had this really nice move down at right after the open, but other than that, it was just a range day. You could see we hit the measured move, and originally I thought, okay, well, let's see if this is the overnight highs, but we didn't. Oh, we did end up hitting that. So that could be it. But then when we bounced here and here a couple times, I was like, you know what? I bet you it's these highs. And look at that. I think the way I had it drawn earlier, it was actually perfect. So maybe it was right here. That makes it a perfect touch. But now I'm seeing this was right before the open, I think. And so we got a perfect measure move of that too. I thought maybe this was a valid level of support. You can see it bounces here, bounces here, bounces here, bounces here. So that's how I drew my level of support. The level of resistance, you can see it bounce here, bounce here, bounce here, but it's tough to say. But after these two swings, I had it drawn right there. So, and you can see it bounce right there. So that gave this lower high gave you some reason to enter there. But let me stop talking and let's take a look at what I marked. I don't think I missed anything in here. Right at 5 o'clock, so you can see prices were trending up pretty much all night. We got an overshoot here, or at least the way I had it drawn, we had an overshoot, and we had this break, and this is what, 5:06 a.m. So this double top means the count resets and you get a first entry, second entry, and that's a higher low. And so, yes, this is an aggressive trade, but it's a higher low. It's a second entry long after we'd been trending up like pretty much all night. And so there's room back to the EMA to scalp out. 90.50, yeah. Room to scalp out. So I like that. I entered there. And we're expecting a move to a new high. So that's what we got. So what turned out, or what we expected to only ride back to the EMA turned out to be a really good entry. Yeah. So then we make a new high. And after that, you get some congestion right at the open, and then this turned out to be a pretty clear channel down. So when you get this, I looked at this as, oh yeah, this is a new high technically, because we make this high and then this one goes higher. You get a first entry, failed second entry long. I really like these entries. There's plenty of room to these lows to scalp out. This is clearly off the trend line, and if you don't enter there, you get a lower high. I think you can enter on that. And you would, I know darn well, if I saw that there was room to this midline, I'd probably consider going short here too. I don't think I would consider going short here. I'd probably wait on the second entry, and that comes, but we're getting so far from the EMA, I'm not going to mark any of that. So we get this big overshoot, and then we get a pull back to the channel, and that's a second entry. And then we go here, and that's a second entry, or that's a first. This is a first entry. We get this second entry short. There's room, plenty of room to the lows. I think you got to go short there. We bounce here. We bounce here. This is a failed second entry long, but I'm not liking this overshoot. Yeah, I don't think I like that. But it is a failure and it works out. Here we get a second entry, but this, I'd be concerned because it's a new high, and there's not room to scalp out before the EMA. So I don't think I would like that. If you're feeling very aggressive, you get a first failed second entry long. And the only reason I feel like you might consider going long here is because it's a higher low from here. This swing is a higher low from here. and it sets up pretty well. And it's starting to look like this is a range. So that's why I'd consider that. I don't think, probably wouldn't have had my highs up here. And this looks like a channel up, so yeah, that's an overshoot of that channel, so you might go short here. And if you don't want to go short here, you might consider that. So you might like that. It's hard to say though, because that doesn't look like. Yeah, I guess you could argue this is the midline. You get a touch here, you get a touch here. This has some resistance, so you might consider that. This is just way too congestive. This higher low is going right into that level of resistance. Here we get a first entry. So this is the failure right here, but I don't think you would want to go long there because you're going into the overnight lows, and though it's like a breakout pullback, I'm not liking that, especially after this massive leg down. The bias is definitely down. So that's why I don't like that. We get a break of this channel. You get a first entry, and you get a failure right here. But what I like about this is it's back into where I had my level of resistance drawn. So it's also a second entry short. So that's a great entry, and it turns out to be a great entry. I think it looks like you might have gotten a nice runner on that too. Yeah, I think you would have gotten a runner. And that is probably a 7-point runner right there. First entry, nothing here, and it looks like this is a channel down, but you know, you're still trying to play range rules here, and this is just chopping people up. You get a second entry short here, actually. First entry, second entry short, and that is actually a trap. I don't know what to say about that other than play range rules. And I entered on a limit order after this all happened because I like this setup. And I got filled because it goes exactly where you expect it to go, and you get a scalp. But, you know, this bounce, look, that's right at where I had my level of support drawn. And that's not a good sign. And this is a range. Look, we haven't made a new low. Higher low, higher low. So be careful. And this is just at the top of the range. Plenty of room back to the EMA. I don't see how you would really take that, though. This kind of looks like a new low, so maybe you looked at it as like a second entry short. You get this nice leg down, but this is just all too far from the EMA. You get a break, and you don't get a move to a new low, really. Let's get out of this. So we're making higher highs. First entry, second entry, signal bar is trash, but then you get a higher low. I think you can consider going long here. Then it just looks hyper congestive. We got doji, a lot of overlap, so this is definitely aggressive. But that's an example of a higher low. And it starts to look like we have this channel working up, and I like the way this one sets up. This is a second entry long, and I like that setup off the trend line. Room to the highs of the range, room to these highs, previous swing highs. So I do like that. And we get a failed second entry, but I'm not liking, like, these are dojis and this is a doji, so I don't like that entry. Here we get a first entry, failed second entry long. You might consider that, but we had no idea what was happening at this point. At least I don't think you could know. We had a break of this channel, and prices were ranging. It's very difficult to be confident in knowing what was happening. This is all too far from the EMA. We come down, make a higher low from here. And this just looked really good to me. I like this. I entered this on my practice account. It just looks like a higher low back into the range. And you get a nice runner off of that. But then the failure comes right here. And if you were too nervous to enter right here, when you get that double test of this price level, I would go long there. And then we have this slow movement up. This is like a double bottom, so the count resets and you get a first entry, failed second entry. Does that even work? I probably just marked it and walked away. 74.50. That's like a 4-tick failure right there, so that doesn't work. And yeah, that's off the trend line, and this is congestion. It does look like an uptrend, but when it doesn't touch the trend line, you probably want to wait for a second entry, and we don't get that set up. Trend line breaks. Should probably be playing range rules anyway. And that brings us into the end of our trading time. So there were some good trades in here, but a lot of it was congestive and difficult to navigate. So let's look at these trades I took. Took this higher low. It's aggressive, but it's calculated, and I like it. We had a break of this channel. We're expecting a move to a new high, and it's a higher low with room back to the EMA to scalp out. So I'm okay with that. We have this second entry, failed second entry, long reversal pattern. I think that's a great entry. Yeah. And this was just too aggressive. I don't like this. We had this second entry, first entry, second entry short, but we should probably be playing range rules. We get a bounce here. So, and you get a doji. This is all within this bar. Doji, doji, doji. Okay, too much overlap, too aggressive. So, those are the trades I took today. I hope everyone has a great day, and I will be back tomorrow.